Hey guys, came for 15. Join by my co-host, Red Wolf, back at it yet again with another My Hero Academia anime episode review for you guys on the manga. But yes, listen, we got three more chapters of the manga left. The manga's on break this week, and the anime went on break last week. So we're back from the break. We're now officially in the second half now.
I'm not gonna lie. Throughout the time that My Hero Academia was not airing, I was like, "Wait, did it end already?" And throughout all this, I'm like, "Wait, did it end already, or is it just on break?" I was like, "Oh." I like my brain just literally farted the entire time.
We only had a 1 week break. Yeah, three chapters in the manga left to get into your manga chapter review. We talked about what happened last week, which was the closing of certain storylines. Certain storylines finally get resolved and closed. That will be coming in the anime hopefully soon. But back with the anime, we get more fighting, and it looks like the heroes were looking like we're getting the upper hand. But the villain's just like, yeah, no.
Oh my god, we're seeing body parts flying all over the place.
Figuratively and literally.
Hmm.
Anyways, so last time we left off with the anime, actually, before we get in, since we're in the second half, what's your thoughts on the new opening, the new ending?
I'm gonna have to listen to it more. I'll be honest, especially the opening. I think I gotta listen to it more before I give my opinion. I think the ending's okay.
The ending's fine. The visuals are fine, I guess you can
Yeah.
say.
Hmm. Yeah, as
Uh,
for the opening, I have to listen to it more.
I still kind of wish they stuck more with the first opening more than switching it. I understand why they did a new opening, new ending because it's a new season of anime and everything. You're not going to stick with the same old opening, but
Mhm.
it felt like we never got enough time with the first opening and first ending of this season. Because My Hero, it really, season 7 started late.
Honestly, yeah, you're right. Actually, it didn't like last very long.
Like really, and I understand there was only looking at it, um we only in terms of season 7, it's only 8 episodes. Well, 7 episodes of season 7 with that first opening.
Hmm.
So we're only in episode 8 and we already got the second opening. But anyways, let's get to it. Last time we left off, um All for One fired off what probably would have been a very, if not killing blow to Jiro and Tokoyami, if not for Hawks at least using some of his feathers to push it out the way. But even then, they still got damage to the point
Yeah.
Jiro's ear, one half of her earpiece falls off and completely shatters. And that's when you have it to where All for One was like, "You're just puny extras, just fodder for the Demon King." Well, we pick up right where we last left off. All for One is still antagonizing them, but that's when Jiro kind of stands up, and she's just basically still frustrated, and she's like, "Well, I'm not gonna stop fighting because you're the person that made my friends cry, a la Deku because of his Dark Deku arc and putting all this stress on him, and then obviously Ayama." Being very emotional over the betrayal of what he did to his entire classmates. Um, she goes in, she fires off a heartbeat sound monitor attack, directly hits.
I'm assuming it's weaker considering she lost one of them.
You would have to think it's weaker since she lost one. But even then, All for One is still in a state where, well, what happens? The reason why he's stuck in that position.
His I was getting some Star Strike vibes from here, but because the quirks are somehow rebelling against him.
Yes. So he looks like he's going to do an attack. Like he's going to counteract Jiro's thing, like probably with his radio wave quirk. But then all of a sudden he's like, fuck? And the next thing you know, in his vestige world, the quirks that he's taken, they're starting to rebel against him. They're like, we're not letting you do this. It's time you die, essentially, right?
Hmm.
They're rebelling, and he's like, what the frick are these morons? So the wills of these quirks are
Basically,
literally
like,
stopping
right.
them. Now, we already know that in the My Hero Academia universe, lore building wise, each quirk has obviously their person, but that quirk has that person's individuality, their own persona. So basically, their own said quirk factor. That's which is literally them. We know this with Deku and One for All because even though he has the abilities of the other users' quirks, when you go into his Vestige world, even though those users are dead outside of All Might, they still have a spiritual body that resembles the quirk that they once had, which is them. So the will of these people that were basically had their quirks forcibly taken from them are like, nah, we're gonna make sure this is your last story. This is your final conclusion. We ain't letting you defeat these kids. Hoxton comes in, he slices and makes a little because he was the reason why he was targeting the helmet. We find out he had like made cracks and dents in his mask to break the mask easier because right now the task is they got to break All for One's mask because it's like a respiratory mask. It keeps him up and moving around, right? So he goes in, slashes it. The sword breaks the first time, and it's still a good chunk of it breaks off, right? So he's still vulnerable. And then next thing you know, All for One's just in this heated position. It looks like this is going to be the conclusion. They're going to break off his freaking mask once and for all, maybe finish the job.
Well, it sure looked that way for a moment.
And what happens?
Well, you can see that All for One was like falling and having a little bit hard time to breathe as he fell because the thing came off, and now he's getting pissed.
Yes, and because of that, what does he do?
He sends out spikes all over the place and nearly piercing Hawks and almost the kids also.
Now what happened in the Vestige world?
Oh, that scene. Yeah, All for One like grabs one of the wheels of the quirks and literally started choking him, like, and his mouth like opens all wide, like literally swallowing it.
I remember seeing this manga panel in the manga. That was I saw that shit for the first time in the manga, and I'm like, is this My Hero Academia right now? Because this shit looks like something out of Chainsaw Man. No, not Chainsaw Man. Jujutsu Kaisen.
Both
When
are.
he opened his mouth and he was like, I'm like,
They had wills, but they weren't strong enough.
yeah, because he breaks loose of them. They did the best they could, but the way the anime shot it, it made it seem like as if Hawks was the one that got pierced. He got impaled to try to protect Jiro and Tokoyami. But
Nope. Guess who came to the rescue after having his downfall a bit? Endeavor himself.
yes, and what does Endeavor do to follow up from this attack?
He literally just pushes through and sacrificing his own arm in the process. I was like, no. When I saw that, like, wait, did he chop his own arm? And no way.
So at this point in the episode, did you think, oh shit, he's gonna sacrifice himself?
I did think so, and I'm still gonna think so later on in the future.
We'll bring this up after the Prominence burn attack. So we cut down to what Endeavor was thinking internally. So Endeavor's still on the ground right then and there in the quick little flashback moment. His old self is looking at him like, "You gonna get up or you gonna do something?" And he talks about, "Look, you did all these stupid things and you did all these things in the past, and you want to try to atone for each and every one of these things you did. Why don't you just accept who you freaking are?" Basically, aka an abusive a-hole, essentially, I guess you can say. And we kind of get a little bit of Endeavor's backstory. And we find out that his dad tried to save this girl from this evil person, but his dad ended up dying.
along with the girl.
Yeah.
That's rough.
So, and mind you, he looked like he's probably like 10, maybe 11 years old. Maybe no older than a teenager, or almost getting to his teenage
I
years.
say 15. He looks at least tall enough for that.
And maybe the fact that maybe he didn't have a father figure after his father died, maybe that led him to being the type of person he ended up becoming, because obviously he got
Mm.
egotistical.
I think it's more like that his father couldn't save people, but All Might did, which was led him to jealousy, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously brings his past self talks about bringing up jealousy and being envious of those stronger to you. Like even his past self says, like, "You're not All Might. Shit, you're not even Deku." Um, and essentially because of this, Endeavor accepts who he is, obviously as he is. He gets back up. He starts fighting, and mind you, again, he charges forwardly, and he literally loses his arm. And I'm just like, oh. Now, when I saw this in the manga and he lost his arm, I was like, there's no way they're actually going through with this. Horikoshi's actually going to do this. And he just goes on a full frontal assault against All Might. And essentially, he uses his flames to replace his arm that he lost. And he's basically making the flames in the form of a fist. He's just launching out. All For One is trying to block the attack, but he's still taking damage. Like after he did that, like the freaking I forgot what quirk that was. But the spikes and the spears and everything, he tries to repiece his mask back together again. But because Endeavor is forcibly attacking him, it's not working, and it's breaking the mask again, right? And he continues to go on and attack and attack and attack, to the point he takes All For One down to the ground. The other heroes and the other villains like, what the fuck is going on there? And you just have it to where the grass one that's dating Mount Lady or whatever, he's like, we don't care. That's Endeavor. He can do whatever he needs to do, right? Because all the other heroes are like, wait, this wasn't a part of the plan. But the dude is like, cares? That's Endeavor. He needs to do what he needs to do. So they all get out of there. Endeavor, who is keeping a because eventually him and Hawks have a little side conversation. Hawks is like, you're relatively calm. And he's like, no, not really. I'm just upset and I'm angry. He goes back, flies in. He starts dragging All For One through the ground. And basically, he's just dragging him. He's like, look, we're going to finish this whole deal. Now, All For One, because his mask is broken, he's like, my body can't move the way I want it to move because my mask is destroyed. But if you're up close, I know something I can do.
Yeah, right. And then Endeavor just turns his head and then flame his arm.
Yeah, he uses heat vision to basically disable his arm and make it useless. And basically, Endeavor's like, those hands have hurt a lot of people's future in the past. And of course, leave it to All For One giving a snarky response. He's like, please, you're the one that's hands are quite dirty yourself. And obviously Endeavor is like, yeah, I know. I got my hands dirty and I did things that I regret nowadays. And he talks about the future and everything. And he talks about the fact, like, basically the fact, like, today's heroes, they're supposed to set the stage for the future heroes, a la Deku's group, to be able to overcome their issues and their paths to change the future. And you get a nice little image of what seems to be an older Class 1A walking to their future as they're all adults. I remember seeing this panel in the manga. I was like, oh shit, is this what they're really going to look like in the future? Who knows? Now they actually, obviously in a manga panel, you can actually see it more, because in the anime, they kind of like show a bit, but then they just cut off it immediately. So that's the thing. Endeavor takes him right up. He basically locks arms and holds him tight. And it's like, oh, I think I know what we're going to get here. He ends up doing Prominence Burn.
There was no escaping. There was no escaping for All for One there. Nope.
Yeah. Big explosion. Now, before we talk about the next part, did you think when you saw this and you saw him rap, you're like, did you believe, okay, this is the moment where he's going to sacrifice his life and he's going to take Goten with him?
Loki, yeah. Yeah. I thought that was going to end for Endeavor there. Whether it's either like self-sacrifice or with All for One suddenly turning the tables all of a sudden. Because I know for a fact that All for One was not going to die there.
So, All for One is a charred ass mess. Just like Shigaraki was at the start of the season against Star and Stripe when they fired those missiles on him. And the thing is, Endeavor is like, well, even if he's somewhat still alive, he can't self-regenerate. He doesn't have the quirk in his abilities, right? But then that's when All for One is like, you know, I have no more use for this body anymore. You know, here's the thing. Now, early in the episode, All for One makes the mention, he's like, yeah, heroes that are actually pretty damn wounded, they're actually at their most dangerous. But then that's when All for One's like, you see, like you heroes think you put your lives on the line, we actually do the same thing. And here's a lesson to be learned. Villains are at their most dangerous when they're wounded too. Now, in this screenshot, we see Eri in the background with the red bullet. And if anybody remembers what those bullets contain, those contain Eri's quirks to be able to, Eri's quirk ability to rewind. So after this, you see All for One's ears grow back. Mind you, he had no ears. This entire series we've seen him. And his eyeballs grow back. This man used the quirk rewinding bullet on himself. Now, you're wondering, okay, how the hell was he able to get a hold of these bullets? Various rays he got a hold ahead of the bullets. Remember, after going back to season 4, after the defeat of Overhaul, remember, what's his face? He was trying to escape. Shigaraki ended up encountering Overhaul. He took the bullets, the cases with all those rewind bullets, because remember, Overhaul was gonna escape and continue to do his black market stuff, right? And that's when we know, like, okay, Shigaraki took away his arms, right? And that's when he took the bullets. So clearly, he gave the bullets to the doctor, which probably once they brought back All for One got a hold of those bullets. And he's like, well, I can always use this as a backup plan. Now, he knows he's only doing that, and the reason why he says, I don't really care for this body is simple. We know he's somewhat taking over Shigaraki's body. The question is the will of Shigaraki going to allow that to happen? So, that's the thing. Now, before we get into the next stuff, which was crazy stuff with Bakugo and everything, we know the quirk erasing bullets and we know Eri's quirk is unstable. Well, now she can control it better, but the form of the quirk erasing bullets, we know it will continuously rewind him. There's a positive and there's a negative with this. The positive is he's going to keep rewinding himself back to the point probably before he was born. So he's going to literally probably rewind back to when he's literally a baby, if not basically something in a mother's womb. That's the good part, right? Which means basically the heroes have to stall him. The problem is, the more he rewinds, the younger he gets. And we know he was a problem in his prime. He made All Might lose his stomach because of it. And the question is, we've seen past prime how strong All for One is. Now, how the fuck strong is prime All for One? And mind you, we've already got a very badly wounded Endeavor, a badly wounded Hawks.
It's taken me a bit to process all this.
Yes. This changes the game.
Yeah.
And technically, who the hell can stop Prime All for One? You ain't got no All Might this time.
Yeah, and right now Deku is not, you know, I would say he's strong, but I'm not sure he would be able to stop a Prime All for One.
Yeah. So the heroes are in quite a predicament.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a predicament. We got Prime All for One coming. Yeah. We got problems. We got problems. Speaking from one All for One to the other All for One, he's still doing his weird mutation hand things that are just continuously coming out of his. Till this day, even after I read the manga, I still don't understand what the fuck ability this is. I'm guessing this is just some mutation.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's pretty clear by now that it's some kind of mutation. His body is just evolving. It's not a quirk. It's not an ability. It's just his own body evolving in some weird way. I don't know. I don't know if it's from the amount of quirks he got, but yeah, just like his quirks, he physically he's evolving.
Yes. Now, their main whole operation, the goal is get to the main body, and I'm guessing that's what they're thinking. Well, maybe we can get all these arms destroyed if we get to the main body and take it down, right? Bakugo's flying in. Bakugo is really truly thinking about like fear and desperation and stuff like that. And we kind of see Bakugo got kind of a bit of an upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
He's got all these nice new gadget explosion weapons around by his side.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes charging in and he goes charging in. He's taking all these dudes down. He uses his howitzer impact to try to take it to Shigaraki. Get a big explosion because you think, oh, he did it. He hit him. He probably massively defeated Shigaraki, right? Right?
Little did we know, it ends with an arm break.
Now, before that, we actually do cut to what's going on inside the UA flying structure. Obviously, Momo's making the things to replace everything, right? Now they hear the explosion, like, oh, it must be that's Bakugo, and everything. Now, we do cut over to these other students from the business course or whatever, right? And one of the students is actually recording everything that's going on in his phone. And this one student's like, what the hell are you doing? You need to be working. And this dude's like, well, I'm with the business course. I'm just recording this to get this shit live. I'm trying to see or try to show the public what's really going on in this situation, why we're all coming together for one reason. It's a good reason. It shows you even people that are in just a business course are really, even though they can't fight, they're showing a side of themselves to get the true story about, okay, what's going on here? This is how many people are sacrificing to defeat the villains.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes. Anyways, as my partner said, we get an arm break.
I, I was, the moment that I saw his arm break at Shigeru's sound, I was like, all of it, and still nothing.
Yeah. It looks like Bakugo like barely grazed like one half of his face with his explosion because Shigaraki's like, your quirk basically is condensing your sweat to make these massive explosions, right? Well, that's too bad. He crushes his arm, breaks it. That arm is shattered. It's done. He basically throws him to this, or actually before, he throws him to the side. The heroes are coming in and try to save him, but they're like, but Shigaraki's like, you guys are dumbasses, right? You said attack the main body. You do know my body is on the strength of All Might. I can't lie. He kind of got them there.
Mm-hmm.
And then before he throws Bakugo away, he's like, oh yeah, and to Katsuki Bakugo, he basically says, I was never interested in your ass. Just like he told him like way back in season 6, like when in the first half of the season where he's like, "I'm not interested in you no more. I'm interested in your friend." Um, yeah, he's still calling Bakugo trash.
Mm-hmm.
Bakugo all messed up, his eye all like half of his eye gone. Well, not gone, but it's so bloodied up on one half of his face, and his eye probably swollen too. And basically, Bakugo's just like, or not Bakugo. Shigaraki's like, you know, what am I doing here? Actually, you're waiting for Midoriya to get here. Actually, why am I wasting my time with you guys? You know what? How about this? Maybe it's better for Midoriya to come back to people's dead bodies. Hinting at maybe he kind of try to kill Bakugo to potentially have Deku come back and see basically some of his allies / friends all dead.
I mean, I'm pretty sure at this point that some of them are gonna die until he gets there.
Now, does Bakugo have death flags on him officially now?
Yes, but I'm not gonna jump to conclusions just yet. I'm I'm not. There's death flags, but I'm not sure that they're huge death flags.
Yeah, it's not looking too good for the heroes. Especially on two of the biggest fronts. Obviously, we got Dobby defeated, but it looks like Dobby's gonna come back. We don't know what's going on with the Toga stuff still, because we haven't cut back to that. Obviously, we see Spinner getting a whole group of people to go to the hospital, try to get Kurogiri. You have these villains over here trying to awaken the big giant guy, Gigantomachia.
Mm-hmm.
On all fronts, it was looking really good for the heroes. And then, boom, snap of the finger, the villains are winning this.
Mm-hmm.
And on the two most important fronts, All For One and Shigaraki's front, they look like they basically took the hero's best shot, and they're like, you know what? All right, you got us. It's like that meme or that meme video where you have that old man acting like he got injured and everything, but then he pulls out the gun and he's like, oh, you got me there, but here we go. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Packing heat.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
That meme video where he's
It's
like,
what you thought I'd say.
Like, call the where he's like, you might want to call the ambulance, but not for me. And then he pulls up the gun.
Yeah.
It's kind of where that looks like right now. Now, how will the heroes rebound from this? I don't know, but Deku needs to hurry and get his ass up to the Giwei coffin, because otherwise some very important people are going to die.
Easier said than done right now.
Now, I did watch the next episode preview. I'm not going to spoil that. I will say I don't like that they put that in the next episode preview, though. It really spoiled people's episode if you did watch the next episode preview.
Please don't say that. You're going to get more people to complain about MHA.
So, now that's only if you don't watch the next episode preview, but if you did, one, I don't know why they showed that, because next week is a pretty damn big return.
Big return, you say?
Did you watch the next episode preview?
Yes, but I vaguely remember it now.
Okay, well, you'll see next week.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, another solid episode of My Hero Academia, Season 7. The haters still crying in tears. Anyways, any other final thoughts?
Nope, that's all, man. That's all.
Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. If you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts. Hit that subscribe button if you want to get more Camp 15 content, or my co-host channel, The Red Wolf. Leave a link in the description below to his channel, and stuff like that. And yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. We'll be back tomorrow morning this time for my dear friend Nokotan.
Yes.
We'll also be here for Fairy Tale on Your Quest, but we're definitely gonna be here for my dear friend Nekotan.
Because apparently it's a big hit right now.
Oh my god.
For all the wrong reasons.
I've seen some clips from the second episode because Japan gets the second episode a few days before we officially get it. And oh my god. I'm not. I can't. I can't. Anime of the season. My dear friend Nekotan. That's my number one.
You don't say.
For all the wrong reasons.
Wrong.
We'll be back for more Nekotan craziness, but we'll also be here for more Fairy Tale greatness. Anyways, any other final thoughts on your end?
You asked me that already.
Well, in terms of you promoting your channel.
Yes. Right now I'm editing my my next it's gonna, and that's when I invited Cameron. We had a little bumps on the recording, so there's gonna be a lot of editing for me to do because, oh my god, I've been having some connection issues on my end, but I'll get it out when I get it out. I don't know when it's gonna come out, but it will. So.
Yeah, more Resident Evil content will be coming out. I think I only have 2 more videos to upload, and you'll get the finish and conclusion for Leon's story, and then that's when I'll start pushing out my Claire perspective video and stuff. So yeah, and then Resident Evil 3!
Yes, I know you're looking forward to that.
No, I heard that it's kind of the worst out of all the remakes they've done so far.
I haven't seen like a full-on playthrough on that, but I have no invest, but I wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen a full-on playthrough of that. Looking forward to Nemesis.
Well, that's it, right?
Yeah, that's it. Anyways, catch you guys later. Till then, guys, peace.